Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you kept adding features to your app based on user feedback, only to end up with a bloated, confusing mess of an application? While it's great to have feature rich application, it's equally important to ensure that users can easily navigate through it and use the app. Fortunately, the upcoming talk will teach us about this. We'll learn how to clean up an application and refocus users on a main dish. Our speaker will share practical tips and strategies to help you strike the right balance between the functionality and usability, making your apps pleasure to use for your users. Yuri Pribish is a UX designer at Epsilon. What that means is he helps turning my unusable shiny apps into apps that people fall in love with. So I'm happy to introduce my colleague Yuri.
Thank you, Ada, for such a grateful invitation. So, can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. First of all, hello there. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Yuri, and I'm a designer at Epsilon. I'm here today to talk about a new approach to visualization of a set of filters in a human-readable way. I'm excited to share with you how this approach can help bridge the gap between technical experts and non-experts and lead to better collaboration and decision making. Before we dive into the details, I want to take a moment to thank the organizer of this conference for putting together such a fantastic event. It's truly an honor to be here and to have the opportunity to share my ideas with all of you. I hope this today's presentation will be a small break from those challenges and will provide you with some inspiration and new ideas. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the request. The queries have a significant impact on our daily lives as they allow us to quickly and easily access information and resources on a wide range of topics. Whether we are looking for latest news, checking the weather, or searching for a recipe. Queries help us find what we need with just a few keystrokes. Imagine how you would describe a request for finding ticket for a family vacation, let's say. Something like this. Yeah. Or request for buying a new laptop. It could be one sentence, yeah. Or formulating a request for food delivery. So most likely you would describe it in a one sentence with a set of specific conditions. Typically, this would be a logical sequence arranged by priority. And this would be sufficient to convey your position to the listener. So let's take a look how the different services handle such user requests. So this is the Kiwi.com, and at first glance, it looks like a typical ticket aggregator with a regular search bar. However, the search appears inconsistent with a mix of blocks here, icons, and drop-downs, while the overall layout makes interaction difficult. The next one example is this is the UNESCO website with an interactive map and a huge search block that takes up 1/5 of the page, with most of options on the scroll you can see here. This distracts the user from the reason why they came to the website. The next case is, here is the similar situation, by the way, but the search block takes up almost the entire page instead of showing the current schedule based on the user's geolocation and popular destinations. So why not? If you were struggling during these filters, you understand what I'm talking about precisely. So where is the start point? Why is the look different and scattered all over the app? How to stop and so on? Just understand me correctly. I'm not saying that it's totally not understandable, but agree, it makes you suffer a bit, or officially words, it increases cognitive resistance ratio, for sure. So let's put some conclusions here. The first one is the complexity. traditional search filters can often be complex and confusing, with many different options and categories to choose from. This can make it difficult for users to find the information they need and can be especially frustrating for those who are not familiar with the system. The second one is capacity. Current approach can take up a significant amount of space on the web page, which can be a con for websites or applications that have limited screen. This can make it difficult for users to navigate the site or view the content that they are interested in. And the third one, inconsistency. So traditional search filters might not always have a consistent or standardized view across different websites or applications. This can make it difficult for users as well to know where to find the filter options they need or how to use them effectively. So what I propose. But before we go further, I have to put some disclaimer here. I'm not saying that the current approach should be replaced by this new idea, but if you think it could increase user experience and help meet your needs, please use it. So this is what I have. So what is it? So initially, it's a logically sentence. So I want to see a new approach of visualization, this set of filters in human readable way. So as you can see, it's a sentence, but with different bicolor parts. But behind it, it's mechanical, the same as a current approach. So you can click here and specify whatever you need, or you can click here and do the same, or even you can put different filters here. So it's the same here. So it's not rocket science, and it's I would say it's nothing completely different, but it makes easy navigate and easy interaction for your end user. So let's go into detail. So anatomy. So as you can see here, this is the initial state, and yeah, you can specify it as you want. The second part is predefined type of filters. It could be single, multiple options, nested filters, daytime picker, any ranges, any sort of counters. You can even put here pagination if it fits your use case. And the third one, most important part, is a predefined type of preposition, like off, at, all, by, for. It's necessary to make your sentence more realistic. But anyway, you can just use ampersands for sibling filters if you will. Okay, let's do some practice here. What about design workshop to conduct just right now? Let's see how it looks in the real case. As you remember, filters here take up a significant part of the space. So put some magic here and turn the current one to the new one. So you can see here just one simple, but not simple, but a sentence. I want to fly anytime to anywhere in any class with no luggage, and it's all. So let's go specify it. So you can click on I, and you can, let's imagine that you are traveling with your significant other. Let's put it here. And okay, for the hard case, let's put 2 kids. Yeah. And apply. And now how it turns into a sentence. So the system reflects on chosen. So 2 adults with 2 kids want to fly. So let's specify the time. Okay, let it be round trip. We can do that. That's from here to here. Okay, and now it turns to the range. So let's specify a direction. Warsaw to Zurich. Okay, apply. Okay, you can even specify the class. Okay, as you have 2 kids, maybe you need additional luggage. Here, apply, and it's all. It's as much as simple, as easy as simple. So we can click go and see the result. Yeah. So nothing completely changed, but for user it's more understandable. So let's compare to current one. Yeah, as you can see, it's like a bit overloaded with information. So we have the main filters here, and we have the side filters on the left. Yeah, and it's distracts from the main dish. Yeah, but main dish here is actually the tickets. Yeah. So what next? What about the real examples? At Epsilon, we have delivered several applications which use the same approach. Let's see, this is the map maker. And as you can see here, it uses the same approach. You can specify whatever you want and run simulation. Okay, let's do this one, this one. So now you have the focus on your on what you really want to show. Okay, another case, we have the application forest range. It's use quite easy filters, but it also works. You can choose scenario, type of tree, and see how it works. Yeah. Okay, let's go for how it works from technical perspective. Usually Shiny app use this type of filters, but let's put some magic here, and it turns in this way. So below you can see the data set which reflect on the fly on the changes you put here. So your interaction compared to current approach the same, but we even have the code here which wrote by Pedro Silva. Thank you a lot for helping me. Yeah, and you can use it. Okay, and once again, like before and after. Okay, so what the benefits here? First of all, it's reduced cognitive load. Yeah? Natural language filters reduce the cognitive load on the user by allowing them to use familiar language to express their search criteria. This reduces the learning curve and makes it easier for non-experts to interact with the data. The second one is with natural language filters, users can quickly and easily express their search criteria without having to navigate through multiple search filters. This saves time and increases efficiency. So by creating a more intuitive and user-friendly search interface, your approach can help increase engagement with data. When users are able to quickly find the information they need, they are more likely to explore further and discover new insights. And the last one, finally, we leverage natural language filters for data visualization. Businesses can gain a competitive advantage over others in their industry by making it easier to find and analyze data. Businesses can make more informed decisions, identify new opportunities, and stay ahead on the curve. So, sorry for speed run, but it's all from my side, and we can go to Q&A session, if you will.
Thank you, Yuri, for sharing your unique perspective for improving user experience for apps. There are not many UX developers working with Shiny to share such insights. Also, a reminder to you, Yuri has his hands all around apps that we build in Shiny. And you can see a few of those apps in the app gallery. And if you like something, you can also vote it under the polls tab in the events tab. We do have a few questions for you, Yuri. How do you
Uh,
convince the product owner to say no when we will not add this feature?
okay, I will. I will say for that it could increase the user experience, and I would suggest to put some KPIs to measure it, and maybe it works for sure.
I see. So are these like are these KPIs leading? Like before you publish something, you ask for a survey and get the numbers to make a data-driven decisions, or are they lagging? You create a lot of prototypes and ask the user which one is better.
There are different ways. So the first one to convince the business owner to use this new approach, I would let's say set KPIs, which is like bounce rate or something like that, and see the difference before and after.
Okay, awesome. And to piggyback on Anna's talk this morning, what tools do you use to prototype and brainstorm your designs?
Actually, the main tool is Figma, and for brainstorm, I use my whiteboard. I'm just old school designer.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations for people getting started with these concepts?
The first recommendation you have on board the copywriter to build your sentence meaningful. Yeah.
Okay. And from chat, Karsten asks, how do you link these drop downs in Shiny?
Link this drop down in Shiny. I just pass it to developers. I don't know.
Okay, I see. Okay. So I think you'll be able to find the code in our repository somewhere.
Anyway, I can share the link here in the chat to share codes and examples of what we have in Epsilon with which use the same filters, and you
Okay.
can navigate and share your feelings.
Okay. And Jason asks, how well does this approach work as the number of options increases? With the flight example, when and
Yeah.
where do we present options like numbers of layovers, time of departure, etc.? Yeah.
Yeah. If I understand correctly, so you have already predefined a set of queries which built in, which integrated in the sentence. But if you have some additional, you can put it aside. But this is the should be main flow. But if you have a lot of options inside, let's say inside the particular filter, you can use CHIPS approach. Just put 2 and plus whatever you have, plus 10, plus. Okay.
Awesome. That's all the questions we had. Thank you for answering all of them.
Thank you. Thank you.
And for the people who are watching, stay tuned for the keynote. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.